Hello, welcome back to Save Your Bacon, an advice comedy podcast where we think we're helping. My name is Will.
And my name is Zane, and just to show you how much we care, we have paper master degrees in therapy taped loosely to our walls so you can tell we're both professional and self-sufficient.
That is right, Zane.
Hey, Will, I've got a weird question to top us off at the beginning of the show.
To cap things in,
yeah,
to come to our end point, yeah.
Yeah, to cap things off. This is one of those questions that there's no way that we would go super in-depth into it, so I just want to ask it now. The question comes from a Reddit user, Revanov, and the question is, does bees have trouble with ants stealing their honey?
Oh, man. It's like a picnic situation, isn't it?
How
many cartoons have I watched those pesky ants take away all the picnics from humans? They probably did the same thing with the only food source that bees know, honey. I'm imagining a nice little bee family having a nice picnic, and they open up their picnic basket, and it's just some honey just kind of falling out of the picnic basket sloppily, and an ant comes by and just takes the basket, just one, because it's small, you know.
Just one ant.
They can carry a lot,
yeah,
and runs off with it. I think that someone should make some sort of fan fiction of bees versus ants and the thieving ants against the bees. I like that.
I imagined like a family of bees, you know, dad, mom bee, kid bees, and everything. Like, all right, honey, I'm off to work. Father bee heads off to work. When he comes back, an entire swarm of ants has climbed up the tree and taken the hive that all of the honey is in. And he comes back and he's like, oh no, my honey. My honey's gone.
If the entire, I mean, yeah, it's the home of the bees, you're right. But if the entire hive gets stolen, did they really lose any honey? You know what I'm saying? They steal the hive. All the honey is still intact inside the hive. Did they lose any honey? That's like if the whole earth got stolen, did anything get lost? You know?
Holy shit.
Yeah. Like, if the whole earth just got picked up harmlessly and just taken somewhere else where it would be fine, is there anything really wrong with that? Were we really stolen?
Well, were we stolen? Yes.
That was a long pause.
But did we lose anything? No.
Okay, that's all the answer we need. We answered that. Sounds good. Hey, I got a good question for us to start off.
Please.
This one comes from J-Rod Sandstorm. Thank you, J-Rod. J-Rod asks, I was challenged by my friend to lose more weight than him by the end of February. It totally slipped my mind that the due date is next week. How do I trick him into fattening himself up without having me put in a lot of effort?
There's a very easy golden ticket situation here, and I do mean that literally. Give him a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate
Send him
factory.
to the factory. Send him to the factory.
Send him off to the factory. They'll get him nice and plump.
He'll have a good time. He'll walk out happy. Emotionally, physically, he may be, I don't know, that wouldn't make me too happy. I'd be like, wow, what a great time. But if I walked out and I was as fattened up as this person hopes for them to be, I don't know how happy I would be. I like that. Send them to the factory.
Can I just say really quick, as the best interjection I think I'll ever make?
Yeah. I
just had the realization that in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, whichever one you want, that there was always a chance that one of the golden tickets didn't go to a kid. Imagine if if there were 4 kids with golden tickets, and then one just like 35-year-old
older gentleman, yeah,
just has a ticket, and then all the kids are just like, this candy or whatnot, and then he's like, Willy Wonka's like, yo, don't touch anything, and the 35-year-old's like, okay,
you got it. No problem.
It's just like he's
not an issue, man.
He's standing by Willy Wonka looking at all the kids running around, and he's just like, kids, am I right? They're crazy. They don't even know how to run a business. What, they're gonna know how to file the taxes on this place? They're gonna know how to do all the business tactics. They don't even know how to hire people.
Willie, we all know I'm more qualified than the kids here, right? Is this really a competition?
He calls him William.
William, is this really a competition? Bill, is this really the competition you want to be holding?
Bill Wonka turns.
It's literally stealing candy from children.
Bill Wonka turns to the 35-year-old.
Bill Wonka turns.
He just turns to the guy and he's just like, honestly, I just want to see if these kids decide to get themselves, I don't know, drowned in chocolate or all plumped up like a blueberry real quick. it's just kind of like a fun thing for me, but we all know that you and I are just like co-creators of the chocolate factory now. So.
I really just hate the kids and want to see them torture themselves with their inhibitions and inability to control their, impulses. Yeah, I understand that. 35-year-old Norman comes in and becomes a monopoly for Willy Wonka because Willy Wonka's had enough. Yeah, I like that idea. Is there anything else? What else would fatten up a friend if you don't have very much time? I mean, we're recording this on the 24th of February, and this was not sent in very long ago. So there's only a couple days left that this person has.
I have a really good one. And this is just because I go to a school where I know people that are specialists in special effects makeup. Get your quietest friends to come in to this place's apartment when they're asleep. Apply a pregnancy outfit. Get your special effects friends to make up it in real nice so that it looks like it's just a belly. And they think, whoa, how'd this happen? And I know you're thinking, oh, easy, quick fix. But I'm thinking long haul here. Next night. Do it again. Second pregnancy belly.
On top of the first. And the third night, you put a hot, water bottle underneath them and poke a hole in it so that it slowly undoes. And I'm guessing that your friend is a male, but he'll wake up thinking his water broke and the weight will never come off. And then he'll really be tripped up. I like the idea of waking up and thinking, what have I done? What have I done to have this belly? To have this child within me?
Do you know how demotivating?
The bet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know how demotivating that would be to after all you're like, I've lost so much money, I'm gonna win this.
To wake up 11
I've lost
months
so much
pregnant.
weight. I lost so much weight, I'm totally gonna win this bet. You wake up and your water's breaking. You're like, oh man, today of all days.
Today of all days, what a terrible day to be having a child. As a male. Why, God?
Why'd you give me this baby that was to be born in a day and in February when I had to be skinny?
Yeah, at the end of February when I had to be skinny. I like that. That is a very good idea on how to fatten someone up. I like the idea. The special effects might be the ticket here. I mean, if you don't have special effects friends, this might be more work than you were looking for. But if you do, which I'm sure you do, then this is incredibly easy and helpful for you. I think that you could probably get some sort of, what are those things that the women would sometimes wrap around their bodies? The corsets. You could get a corset,
nice.
And you could constrict yourself in that way. You could get into a sweat room that the wrestlers do and sweat out all the liquids in your body. That might be dangerous. Don't take that advice.
At the end of your whole thing, actually, you know what? Don't
do that. Actually, after all that, don't do it. Last thing that you could do, though, actually, is that you could get, if money is not an object for you, you could subscribe them to one of those meal, to your door sort of plans.
Mm-hmm.
This might be like $14 a day for you, but they could have terrible meals sent to their door. You don't get the fancy healthy one. You get the one that brings you pizzas and cheeseburgers. Yeah, or you could just bring in an order every single day from a Little Caesars or a Domino's, and when pizzas show up at their door, they'll have no choice but to eat it. Man, look at this free food. What am I gonna do with this? It has my name on it and it's paid for. What kind donor would have brought me this?
That's the pizza code.
In and day out. Yeah,
the pizza code is if a pizza shows up at your doorstep, thou must eat it within under 30 minutes.
Thou must eat it within under 30 minutes. Yeah, I like that. That would fatten them up quick. I mean, we only have a couple more days, and so that'll be a couple pounds. So I think if you put all of these ideas together in order to make one big idea with Bill Wonka included, then I think you're pretty set. Zane, do you have any questions for us?
I absolutely do. Okay, this question comes from Reddit user Van Mint, and the question is, how do I take care of a duck?
Ooh.
Context.
I've
wanted to get a duck as a pet for a really long time. I love them so much, and I want to give one or two a nice home and life. I've obviously been Googling and figuring out the basics, but I was wondering if you had any good tips.
I've been looking online. I've been looking at what all the experts say, but I really just want random people on Reddit to tell me how to take care of my new ducks.
Wanted to do this for a long time. Obviously, I've been doing my research. What do you You guys got a duck? What do you say?
Experts are good. Professionals are good. Duck handlers, that's all right. What I really want is random people from the internet to tell me how to treat my irregular pet. How do I take care of my duck, strangers? Do you have any tips off the top of your head that might be good for duck handling?
I legitimately do, and it's because of a stand-up comedian once. A stand-up comedian made a joking point, but it's a legitimate point, that going into a Subway, if you ask for a sandwich, but you ask for just some bread for a duck outside, they will give you bread for the duck outside. So Subway is your best bet for free food for your duck. So that's a fun fact.
Huh.
But I'm sure you already knew that doing your research.
Doing your research, you probably already knew that if you walked into the Subway, they'd give you bread for your duck. Or for assumedly the random duck, not for your pet. If you told them it's a pet, you might not get the Subway bread. But I've heard that bread is not good for ducks. So maybe that's the first tip we tell them. Don't listen to the comedians. Bread ain't good for ducks. Rice ain't good for ducks. It blows up their belly and turns them into balloons, and that's how they learn to fly, because they start floating up in outer space and get into the space-time. So I hear.
All I ask is, please, if you're not good at swimming or if you don't know how to swim, do not buy this duck. Do not buy 2 ducks. They will think that you are their mom and that you can't swim, and therefore they are not allowed to swim as ducks. And that's really gonna duck up their whole situation for the rest of their life.
Yeah. I wanted to see if I could be a little more insightful. I know you've already Googled stuff, but I think I got one specifically here when I Googled duck facts. Number 2 on here says, Drakes aren't always fly. That's it. Drakes aren't always fly. Good luck trying to sneak up on one. That's the second one. Some ducks have expensive taste. You ever take your duck out to eat and they keep telling you no?
Wait, so my entire point at the beginning is moot. You can't go to the Subway to get them free bread because you're gonna be like, no, I wanted a whole.
They're just being nice, Zane.
I didn't want to go to Subway. Take me to Cheesecake Factory now.
Take me to Cheesecake Factory. Take me somewhere nicer. I want to name some nice places in my town, but most people wouldn't get it. Yeah, ducks have expensive taste, it turns out. I really want more to that fact as well as drakes aren't always fly. Which is a very good duck fact.
Imagine all of How to Train Your Dragons is ducks. Imagine the duck is named now Toothful because ducks don't have teeth, and now this duck's weird because it has teeth. Imagine all the people ride on the back of the ducks, but the ducks are just the size of ducks. Guys, can I just say, if they made How to Train Your Duck and they made Toothful, the duck that has teeth, it would probably be the most frightening and threatening thing on Earth's existence.
Would you rather fight 10 regular ducks or 1 duck with teeth?
Oh my god, 10 regular ducks. 10 regular ducks.
Okay, they're just human teeth, though. They're not like sharp.
Oh my god,
teeth.
10 regular ducks.
I would
100 regular ducks.
100 regular ducks
over
or
one duck with
one
if it
duck
had human
with vampire
teeth,
teeth.
I would fall into a coma the second I saw it. If Donald Duck was real, I would be mortified. So another thing off of that is if you're gonna take care of a duck, make sure you take care of one that doesn't have teeth, or if it does have teeth, please shave them off. Please.
Shave the teeth. We don't care how much it hurts the animals.
You know that they have expensive taste because they think that they can eat like humans because they have human teeth. Get rid of that, please.
Get rid of that notion. Get rid of the teeth so that they're okay with the Subway bread. Subway bread is better for you as a human. Just it's cheaper is what I'm saying. It's better for you and your relationship with the duck. The duck's gonna get arrogant. It's gonna think a lot of itself. It's gonna get really bougie and wear like sports jackets and things like that when it wants to go to like La Chita. With you for French food, but you can't do that. You have to give it the Subway bread by shaving off its teeth and putting it back in its place. That's the biggest tip that I can give you in my years of experience. Lastly, I just wanted to say that when I actually looked into what the fact meant when they say some ducks have expensive taste, they started off, they completed that sentence with, they also tend to consume gravel, stones, or sand. So when you're thinking expensive taste, it's not what you may think. Just to put things in perspective.
Just means, like, agriculturally.
Because gravel is expensive to ship and buy these days. The gravel market is terrible. Sand ain't cheap, folks. Yeah, okay. That's all the duck tips I got for you. I'm gonna give you another question. Are you ready?
Please.
This question comes from Apricot Dream Smasher, returning question asker. Thank you again. They ask, how far is it okay for a celebrity crush to go? What are the limits, Zane? There is no context for this question. How far is it okay for a celebrity crush to go? I'm sure this person had somebody in mind. They're wondering how far is too far for a celebrity crush. You have celebrity crushes. You're like basically a roadie at this point for Jukebox the Ghost.
Okay, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking like, oh, me and Anna Kendrick, or me and something like that. Like, how far do I go with a literal crush? Not just like oh yeah, I'm a good fan of Jukebox the Ghost. Boy, I wish I slept with them. Something like that.
I mean, I don't think that's what they're talking about when going too far. I think that's too far if it's anything that's against their will in any way. But I mean, like, what is too far for how far you're willing to, like, follow this person or really attempt to be in this person's life who doesn't know you? How far is too far? If you are... How many concerts do you have to show up to a person before it is weird? How many times do you have to show up in the very front row of their 30,000 person concert and be the person who has, gotten plastic surgery to look more like them before it is too far in their eyes?
Can I just say, I'm picturing, if I'm on stage and I'm performing, I see the same person every single show. That's cool to me. I'm like, cool, I got a legitimate fan, someone that just like remembers me all the time. If they start looking more like me, I'll be like, that's a bit weird, bud. And if
they say spend time with
if they start changing all their
like
social media to my name, I'm gonna say that's not true. And then that's when it starts to draw the. I think it's weird. The line isn't drawn at when they get facial reconstruction to look like me. The line is when they start changing their name on social media to my name.
To, like, little Selena Gomez.
All right.
Selena
that's
Jr.
Worse than just, like, Zane Shaw if they made it smaller Zane Shaw. And I was just like, I don't know what that means. And I don't like the fact that
Zane
you look
2.0.
like me.
I like the idea of something like if you were famous Zane and it was Zane 2.0, then it's kind of like a threat to you. Like, I'm coming and I'm the better version of you. You're threatened for your livelihood knowing that this person thinks they're better than you. Is that too far?
Is that when it happens? That's close.
Is that too far?
That's close to when it happens.
You've never seen the facial reconstruction. All you know is that somebody has social media called Zane 2.0.
I know when it goes too far. It's weirder. It's not when you see the person every single concert, they see them posting on social media all the time, and all this and that. When you see everything happening, it's when you have no idea that they're there.
What are you talking about?
But like once a year, they'll send you a letter of every single thing that you've done throughout the year. And you've never met this person. They have no social media. They have never been to one of your concerts. They have no name on the address of the letter. They go by Mr. Fantasia for some reason, just as their alias. They can get away with it for some reason. Maybe they live in town. Maybe they're a mailman. I don't know how they get away with that. But as soon as you get that letter, you look at it, and it just says, at this time on this day, you were eating a panini and Panera.
Oh, my gosh.
And then it's just like, that's when it goes too far. Because I think, and this is the better part of everything that I just said, the reason it goes too far is not because of how creepy it is that they did all that. It's because you can't say how cool it is that they did it, because they didn't give you their real name, so you can't send it back to. You can't send a letter back to them, so you can't even talk to them.
Okay, isn't it weird? Just as a thought, like I'm not gonna stop you there, but it's just like interesting how far you can go to stalk somebody who's famous without it being unnormal. And I mean, like obviously that's been stated 1,000 times with like the whole like like the cheat list or like what is it? What is it called? You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Of like you can sleep with another celebrity.
Like you have like these 3 people that if you ever met, you could like sleep with them or whatever. And it's just like you're allowed to stalk these people and you're allowed to show up and patronize them thousands and thousands of dollars, because we can agree that you can show up to every single concert and these really famous people who their general admission tickets are over $200 each. You can show up to these every single time and people just think, cool, thanks for the money. And that's all it is. They can make fan accounts of you online. They can change their name on social media to be like biggest fan of Selena, whatever it is. There are people who make facial reconstruction I mean, that's obviously a little more fringe, but it's just like, and yet those people never bat an eye at it until you start getting the photos from an anonymous sender saying you were eating a panini at Panera on Tuesday, February 14th at 7:30 a.m.
Exactly. I think nowadays that's where the creepy kicks in, because we're so used to seeing everything everybody does all the time.
Public stalking is okay. Private stalking, for some reason, then it gets weird.
Yeah, because
which should be the exact opposite.
Yeah, because
well, I mean, it shouldn't, but
then you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And if you can't contact them again and you don't know how to get in contact with them, that's even creepier. And I think genuinely the going too far thing is if I want to say like, wow, it's amazing actually that you had all the free time to do all this research and get it all so spot on. That's actually pretty cool. Do you want to come to one of my concerts sometime? And I can't even give them some free tickets because they didn't give me
that? I would be so scared.
Hey, okay, come to my concert, but then in parentheses, in handcuffs and a prison uniform, surrounded by prison guards in a prison. I'll come play at the prison.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Come right here into this truck. Bye. You're going off to prison.
Would you like a solo concert from me? I'll play all of your favorite songs, but also it has to be before lights out because you're in a prison.
Yeah, it's via Skype. Yeah, because you're in a prison cell and I'm on the other side. It 4 states away. Yeah. Her real life advice to you is that you can publicly stalk this person. You can be very public about really any way you want to follow this person. You can say, this was my 32nd time meeting whoever this person is that you have a celebrity crush on, and you can post on social media, this is the 32nd time I've met them, and they have no idea who you are, and it's totally cool. Because everyone else does that. But the moment you start doing things behind closed doors in pursuit of them is when it's not okay. And that is when it goes too far. Yeah.
Unfortunately for those people that their bands don't know them after the 32nd time, Jukebox knew me after just the 3rd time. So, whatever.
Yeah. Funny story, actually, Zane. I really should have done this for an opener. But last Sunday I went to see Watsky in concert. For those of you who don't know, Watsky is a Chicago rapper who I've gone to see multiple times in concert now, who I just really enjoyed and have enjoyed for a number of years. And me and a friend of mine went, and she's very jazzed about our podcast. And so she said that after she got done listening to our most recent episode, she went and messaged Watsky and said, "Hey, me and a friend of mine, he has a podcast, and you should really listen to it." And he did not say anything, I know, and for the you can't see Zane right now, but his eyes are wide open, and then he didn't say anything, but that would have just been a very cool and weird moment. I just wanted to tell you that more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like weird how that stuff works, and it's just like there was no second thought in her mind of just like, yeah, I'll just message him. Maybe this person who has no idea who we are will start listening to this podcast, because Watsky isn't like hugely famous or anything. Watsky, if you're listening right now, just give me a shout out, send us a question or whatever.
Should have also told him that I go to Emerson.
Oh yeah,
he
also
went to
Zane.
Emerson. He's the reason I went to Emerson.
Oh dang it, that's true. All right, there's that point. I literally always forget that Zane literally went to the school that he's at right now because Watsky went there.
Also, it's interesting that you always call him a Chicago rapper because he's from San Francisco.
Is he not a Chicago rapper?
No, chances.
What the heck?
He's from San Francisco, and then he went to school in Boston, and then he moved to L.A. He's never been a part of Chicago.
Frick, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why he's never responded to
me. Yeah, exactly. I'm not the right Watsky. You guys are going for the Chicago
Watsky.
Must be
this is the Chicago
You're
Watsky.
You're going for Chicatsky.
Chicatsky, give us a call. Let us know you're real. We'll have you on the show as well, I suppose. We'll make time for you. Yeah, that's my whole story. That's my whole bit. Your turn, Zane. You have a question?
Yeah, I do. Okay, this question comes from...
Time for middle stuff. Thanks, Zane. All right, this has been brought to you... This has been brought to you by the idea that you are listening to this right now. I always want to say this has been brought to you by some sort of sponsor, but currently as it stands, there are none. So I want to let you know that you are right now listening to us.
This is brought to you by Chicatsky. Famous Chicago artist.
But you can check us out, if you don't know already, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. we would love if you gave us a rate or review on any of those sort of things, and any sort of downloads or subscriptions or follows that you can grab us for would be great. That would be a fantastic way to interact with us, and we just love seeing how many more people we keep getting each time. We're just blown away by the continual growth that this podcast has been giving us, even when I forget to post it on social media.
But yeah, this entire podcast runs through you guys. Everybody that's listening, everybody you know, everybody that hasn't listened yet, it all runs through you guys. We just start building off of your ideas. If you have any questions, you can email us your questions at saveyourbaconpodcast@gmail.com. That is saveyourbaconpodcast@gmail.com. Also, we have Twitters and Instagram handles that are at Zane and Will. That's Zane and Will for both Twitter and Instagram. And you can DM us there. You could use the hashtags SaveYourBacon or hashtags Zane and Will, whatever you find quickest or easiest. It's really whatever is most efficient for you. I think Save Your Bacon Podcast's email is probably the quickest, easiest, effective way to get a question to us, because we just know that that's all questions that get sent there. But again, whatever's easiest for you. And it's amazing, honestly, every week seeing the growth, and that we actually have a fan base of people that are listening, and people that enjoy everything that we're doing, and people that are sending in questions and making this show even more awesome every single week. Because the reason it gets better is because you guys are amazing, and you guys keep being a part of it. And I'm so dang thankful for you, and I love you, and thank you so much.
I love seeing you get so passionate, Zane.
I'm a very passionate boy. I'm like a pit and a peach. I'm like a passion pit. That's what I was trying to get.
Okay, you got
like
there.
The band.
I think you got there. I don't think Chicatsky would really appreciate that last bit, but thank you, Chicatsky.
Because he's not an Atlanta rapper. He's a Chicago rapper.
Yeah, if he was an Atlanta rapper, he would support more peach pits. Okay, now I want you to give me that question.
All right, you got it. This question comes from Reddit user Prince Jung Hong, and the question is, why do our mouths open a little when we look high up? And there's context. There's context. It just, as the title says it all. I've noticed myself and other people's mouths fall open a little when we look up on high shelves, and I was just wondering what caused this.
We do look so dumb when we look up. I think of that all the time. I'm a compulsive mouth opener. Like, my mouth is just like, you're saying because you know, because I am just like a person who constantly has their mouth open, just gaping at everybody. I'm what you call a mouth breather. I'm pretty sure. Go ahead.
Fun fact, I didn't know it was this exact until I asked my mom about it, but I knew my top front teeth, not anymore, not right now, kind of really, but I always jot forward a little bit so that it keeps my mouth open a little bit. And I knew that I had like a bunch of teeth stuff and surgery. A lot of my life has been working on my teeth more than not working on my teeth. That's another fun fact.
Really? Is that true?
And I was like, oh, so my teeth come forward a little bit, kind of like Freddie Mercury's. That's kind of cool. And my mom was like, you also had your 4 extra incisors taken out like Freddie Mercury too. I was like, whoa, that's a weird thing. So I have as big a mouth as Freddie Mercury.
Reincarnation. Weird. Okay.
You saying that's... Oh, wow. Well, I don't think that's exactly right.
I think if Freddie Mercury was alive today, he'd probably be a podcaster, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. All right.
No, but I think it's interesting. I think I might have to do it just like the gravity. I think it's been proven throughout time that gravity works harder on jaws, on the bottom half of your jaw, than it does on the rest of a human body.
Does it really?
So when you... yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So if you hold your hand
Prove
out...
me wrong.
If you hold your hand out and you... Alright, do it with me. If you hold your hand out and you tilt up your hand and your mouth at the same time, which one gets heavier?
It feels like my jaw is pretty heavy. I'm just saying, if you were to hold a jawbone in one hand, this is kind of gruesome. If you hold a jawbone in one hand and a not jawbone that is around the same size...
You know, a bone.
A not jawbone. I think the jawbone will weigh you down a lot quicker, is all I'm saying. I think it might be the tongue. The tongue might be weighing you down. When you look up, the tongue is just... mine is a fat and knobbly tongue, and it just weighs me down all the time. And I can't speak for anyone else, but that might be other people's experiences as well.
Wait, so there's a quick fix. If you really don't like looking the way you look when your mouth is open a little bit when you're looking high up, it's very easy. Before you're ever going to look up, take some tape and tape your tongue to the roof of your mouth so your tongue's always up. So that when your tongue is trying to when your tongue's trying to force your mouth open, you can't move. And then your mouth will be like, haha, we got you, little son of a bitch. And now you're stuck on the roof of my mouth. And now, when I look up at these pasta pots, I don't even have to worry about looking like, oh, wow, look at these pasta pots. I'm just going to be looking like I'm just getting a pasta pot. Not like I'm amazed that I'm getting a pasta pot.
Crazy thing enough, I think that we can actually say that moon shoes also fixes this problem as well. If you're walking around with moon shoes, instead of having to look up on the top shelf, you can strap on those moon shoes, look straight ahead, and start bouncing. And you'll start bouncing, I don't know, maybe the 6 or 8 inches that moon shoes will get you, but it'll be enough to see on the top shelf so you can just stare straight forward and see the pots and pans you need.
All right, if we're going to do some throwbacks to questions we've done before with the moon shoes,
This is literally the 3rd episode in a row we've mentioned moon shoes.
Let's go... Let's go back to the episode where we said that you get the 2 kids in the trench coat thing to like you get to sit on their shoulders. So now you never have to look up, you're always looking down at everything. So you don't even have to worry about your mouth being open.
Yeah, another way just to you want to be looking down at everything so you never have to look just slightly dumb looking up.
And if anybody, the only time anybody would now ever say to look up is if someone was like, "Hey, look at that sun up in the sky," and you're like, "I'm not falling for that one." And then now,
good trick, idiot.
Now the kid that's on the bottom of the whole trench coat situation's got moon shoes on himself, and so you're just like, I don't need the sun when I've got the moon at my feet.
Ooh, wow, that's a good one-liner. I like that. I wish I had laughed at it. It would have probably made a lot better delivery. Yeah, I think that also it could be a cool, fun thing if whenever you need to look at something high up, you just started lying down on the ground. Yeah, I think that this could be something to kind of like, wow, the parents of your new boyfriend or girlfriend, meet them, say, oh, wow, look at this. If you look in our vaulted ceiling, you can actually see this grandfather clock that goes up 14 feet. At the very top was crafted in 1892. Go ahead and look up, and then you just lie down on the floor on their brand new carpet and kick the dog a little as you're making room for yourself, and you say, yes, very nice, on the ground.
They say, what are you doing? And you just say, I'm just really soaking it all in. But the thing that I'm now wondering is, all right, if you tilt your head up, your mouth opens a little bit. If you go all in and you lay your head back, does your mouth also go all in, and now your mouth is just gaping wide open?
If you lie down on the ground, does it just gape open?
All right, this is a question I have that I very obviously know the answer to because I fall asleep myself. When we lay all the way backwards, does our mouth now look like we're screaming?
Like we're what? I cannot understand what you said.
Like we're screaming. Does it like we're just on the ground and it just looks like
a silent scream with your mouth wide open. In case you're wondering for the visual, Zane is we've about 14 times now each just looked straight up at our ceilings in our respective rooms just to try out how dumb we look.
We gotta test this.
I know we have to test it.
Can't give proper advice unless we know.
We're gonna give you a full 4 seconds right now of just silence so that you can try out in case you already haven't. To just look up and find yourself a little mirror and look at how dumb you look when you look up to the sky. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You look terrible. Wow. Look at that. You look ridiculous.
I like that I was going to make a joke during the silence, but you just ended up talking through the whole thing, so it was perfect.
Yeah, sorry. I hope that helped. I'm sure it did. Get some moon shoes. All right, I have another question here. This one comes from username Jane Austen and I would be friends. Thank you for sending us in your question. Jane Austen and I would be friends asks, my sister and I are a couple years apart in age, but are the exact same height and have the same hair color. Because of those factors alone, whenever we meet people, they always ask if we're twins. What's a more creative response than simply no? All aggressive, passive, and passive-aggressive suggestions are welcomed. What's a good way to shut down somebody who asks if you're twins?
You just
I know
say,
you and I always get asked if we're twins. What do you always say to them?
Oh, I was gonna suggest, first of all, what I tell people is we were born in the same laboratory, except I was born first, and then I created you. in my mold.
Yeah, when I was born, they thought that I would be lonely, and they stole the rib bone from within me and took the DNA in order to make another clone, which you see as Zane.
If people didn't know this already, Will and I are the original Adam and Eve.
Yes. Will and Zane, Adam and Eve, it is all one. We have updated our names as with the times. We may look different from your westernized paintings that you have originally created, but it is true. Here we are. We made it. Yeah, I think also if you want to say something fun to a person who asks if you guys are twins, I think no matter what your ethnicity, race, whatever is, you could always just look at them and say, "Oh, you think we're all the same, huh? You think we all just look the same?" And that'll get them to stop saying that to pretty much anyone. No matter who they are. You look them dead in the eye and say, "You think you're all the same, don't you?" And that'll make them think twice about ever asking anything to another human ever again, probably.
There is no way you come out of that situation comfortable. There is no way someone just like, yeah, I do. And then they just soak it in.
I think of it, you're kind of right. I do think that of all you.
If you really want another interesting answer, you could say, actually, I'm a musician, and after years of full-on stalking, this one actually took on all of the facial reconstruction surgery it took to look a lot like me.
Turns out we had a lot in common. We hang out.
So I'm a musician. She's my lifelong stalker, and it just turns out that we both like skydiving, so we do that sometimes.
I brought her along to this coffee house because we really needed to catch up, see how alike we really are. Yeah, I like that as well.
Oh, I got another one. When they say you two look a lot alike, just say, "Who's the other person you're talking about? It's just me." Just see how they react to just one person just being like, "Who's this other person that you see?" And the second person plays it off as just a figment of that person's imagination, and just see how long you can ride that wave.
It's like the kids being taught that they're invisible and watching them cry and melt down within it. Yeah. You could also tell them that this is your stunt double, and then you could do like a sick flip right in front of them and watch, and you get hurt and watch the stunt double does it amazingly. And say, "Oh, that's why I need them." And you just start like, "You idiot, why'd you make me do that? This is why I need them," because you're really badly hurt after trying to do a flip right in front of them, and you landed on your dumb butt on your yeah. But the stunt double did it amazingly, and then they feel bad for even asking because they had to prove it to them.
You could always say that you went to a wizardry house, and that when you walked in, they cursed you to switch bodies, but the process is taking like a century, and so it's just slowly swapping your appearances. And so you can just say, "Oh, it's because right now we're like halfway through the shift. So now we kind of just look like we both have the same halves, but we'll slowly come out of it and start to look like our normal selves again. Don't worry, it'll pass."
I like that. That puts a nice cap on things. Thank you, Zane.
Oh, just like the first question.
Just like the first question, we've double capped.
Do you want another question?
I do. I really do.
All right. I hate that I always have one that I didn't read the username beforehand, and I love this. So bad. And I love the username every time I see it. All right. Okay, this question comes from.
What is wrong with you? Say it.
Okay, this question comes from Water Horse Catheter.
We haven't even started the question.
I know.
Thank you, Water Horse Catheter.
All right, the question is...
The question's not even going to be funny. It's just going to be the name. You just wanted to say that. I mean, I did too, but...
What in God's good name is my fucking stomach so loud for? And the question, there's context, and it says, "And when I say stomach, I mean digestive tract. Constantly rumbling and squelching 24/7. In a quiet room, squelch. At a restaurant, squelch. Sleeping in my room at night, fucking squelch." And it's non-stop too. I've tried eating healthier, I've tried cutting back on certain things. I've tried staying more hydrated. I've even tried doing that whole stick your gut out like a beer gut thing, and nothing works. It's so incredibly distracting. I don't think it is. It's so incredibly distracting and embarrassing, and since I've convinced everyone else can hear it, what do I do to stop this nonsense? There's one comment. There's one comment that says, "Have you gone to the doctor?"
Zane, have you ever had this happen to you where your stomach...
Yeah.
Really? When you're full? When you're not sick? Really?
Absolutely, yeah. Every time I eat fruit...
because you're lactose intolerant.
Every time I eat fruit, that's exactly...
Wait, what? Fruit?
Yeah. Fruit, every single time. So you know how your stomach gets insanely loud when you haven't eaten all day? And it's just so loud, and you cover it up, and you're just like, I'm in public. Can you please shut the hell up real quick for me?
Do you find that embarrassing?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Really? Because I think that just me as a person has gotten to the point where whenever I do it, I just look over to the person next to me and say, "Did you hear that? That was awesome." That's usually what I do.
My problem is I'm usually in a lecture, and I'm really hungry, and the lecture just started, and I just like... I don't know anybody around me, and I just want to go eat, but I can't. But now I feel like I'm interrupting something that's already so boring, and I can't do anything about it.
All my classes, we talk in the entire time. And, I mean, I understand it would be a little bit worse if, like, it wasn't a hungry thing. Because usually I look over and be like, man, I sure am hungry. And I sometimes get offered a granola bar or something from a bud. But, like, it would be a little bit different if you just looked over at a person who you've never seen in your life and say, "Fruit, am I right?" You know, because your stomach is rumbling.
When I eat fruit, for some reason, that's when it gets loud. Like, I can feel my stomach grumble when I haven't eaten, but when I've eaten fruit, like bananas, apples, strawberries, berries, all this stuff, yeah, it's just...
are those fruit? Okay.
Yeah, those are the fruits. Yeah, you know them.
I'm glad
you know the essential fruits of
fruit
the day. But yeah, every time I eat berries, that's when my stomach actually gets audible. And that's when it's confusing, because then I'm like, I'm not hungry, so please stop it. Now I don't know what you want. Is it money? Help me. The reason your stomach might be so loud, if you said you've eaten, you've tried cutting back on foods, you stay hydrated, and I don't know what this is, you've tried the whole, stick your gut out thing, because that'll quiet it down. I always try and suck mine in when really? My stomach's ground. Like I inhale and like cross.
Just make mine do the wave to be like, what? Get it through. Come on. I'll
but
help.
I'm never just like, fine. You want to yell here, and then just like
stick out your stomach. Is this what you want? Is this what you want? Intestines?
Everyone looks at you and you're like, what are you doing? It's just like, it won't shut up, and you're just like pointing your stomach straight at them. I think that the reason it's so loud is because you just don't have a good relationship with it. And I was
thinking the same thing. I think,
and I don't mean like you don't like feed it well or anything like that. I mean, just when was the last time you talked to your stomach, huh?
I think it's just complaining. I think this is just a cry for help. I agree.
Yeah, like sure, it wants to eat, but you never ask it what it really wants.
Like I get it. Like you just want to give me food, human, but this is from the stomach speaking, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Which, of course, isn't the stomach. And the intestines are upset about that because you always call them stomach, and that's just not its name.
It is important because he did say when I say stomach, I do mean digestive tract.
But how many times he told that to him? He's typed it to ask this question.
Yeah.
But has he actually had a conversation one-on-one with his intestines to say, hey, I know your intestines and that you're not stomach.
I know you're a stomach, but I also know you're so much more than that.
You mean a lot to me. You go everywhere with me. You're there for me always.
I can't live without you.
My friends, yeah. I can't live without you for the most part. But what do you really desire? What really gets you? What grinds your gears? What are your passions? What do you want to see yourself do before we all just bite the dust, you know?
Yeah. What if your stomach says, I want to be a sword swallower or something? I want to feel what it's like to have a sword inside me, says the stomach.
Says the stomach. Or, what did your stomach tell you when you had that heart-to-heart, Zane?
When I had that heart-to-heart? Oh, I talked to my stomach.
You had it, right?
Yeah, no, I talk to my stomach bi-weekly. We have good talk sessions.
Every time together and have coffee, yeah.
Every time I order Postmates, every time I order in, I have to have a talk with my stomach on like, you know what, I just wasn't feeling it. Actually, I think my stomach has talks with me more than I have talks with it, where it's like, hey, what's going on, Zane? What do you really want?
Yeah, I find the times in that I'm single, it's just kind of consoling, and this might help you, question asker, that if you ever feel like you don't really have anybody to talk to, just be like, stomach, what do you want today? Like,
Exactly.
I want what you want. Like, and it's gratifying to ask that to somebody, especially when that someone is so close to you. Just to look at them in the gut and say, what do you want today, as you're, ready to either go to like Jimmy John's or whatever it may be. Yeah, like you said, ordering out food. And just tell me what it is that will make you happy. Today is your day. Assign a birthday to your gut. I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then you just have at least one day out of the year that you get to celebrate just it.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one for sure. Mm-hmm. Another thing is you got to keep in mind this stomach knows you like nobody's business. This stomach loves you for who you are on the inside for a very specific reason. This stomach literally knows your mind and knows your heart.
It's a personal relationship with your mind and heart.
You've got to keep in mind, and my stomach's cool with me talking about this. It's not just like a cool thing to know your stomach. You've got to know your stomach. Otherwise, your stomach's going to turn on you because it has connections with your heart and your mind, and it could get some real messed up shit going in your body. Like, it could really be like, fine, if you're not going to treat me right, then I'm going to tell your heart to start skipping, and then that's not going to be fun for anybody. Yeah, did you not know? Fun fact, a lot of people think the mind is what runs the body. Like, people are like, we can only use 10% of our brains. That's because 90% of our brain is being used by our stomach.
Whoa. Whoa. Wow, can't even trust yourself these days. Wow. Yeah, question asker, I hope that helps. Okay, this last question comes from J-Rod Sandstorm. Once again, thank you, J-Rod Sandstorm. Killing it this week. They ask, I work a lot of nights, and to stay awake, I have to consume some 5-hour energies. Mm-hmm. However, all the convenience stores that sell them around me close around 4 hours before my shift starts. I usually sleep right up until I go to work, leaving me to chug all 10 5-hour energies that I have bought in the last remaining hour. My question is, how do I bypass the expiration date of 5 hours so that I don't feel constantly tingly for the next 3 days? This is, okay, so when I read this, it was before taking a long nap today when I got this one, and I just could not wrap my mind around it for the longest time. But these are some assumptions that this question asker has given.
Wait a minute.
It's
not that it gives you energy for 5 hours. It's that if you don't drink this within 5 hours, it won't.
There is no energy.
Activate
there
energy.
is no energy past the 5-hour mark of buying this product.
So how long do they think the energy lasts?
They said they feel tingly for the next 3 days after consuming 10 of them. How many? Okay, if you have 5 hours times 10 of them, that's 50 hours. That's a little over 2 days worth of energy. If you just, if instead of being like 10 times the energy for 5 hours, you just have the same amount of energy for 10 times the amount of time. Which I would love to think that's how it works.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to say.
But I really just think that this is your stomach telling your heart to skip a beat once again.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
If you just had a good talk with your stomach and then said, all right, real quick,
here comes 50-hour energy.
Here comes 50 hours of energy.
All right, you ready? We can do this. You ready for 50-hour energy?
Your stomach is literally going to close its mouth and let that just drain into your body, and you're just going to die.
It's going to flood into every organ. Everything will be on super speed. Time will slow down. You will turn into the Flash.
For a solid 3 days, you will be faster than the Flash.
Probably. I mean... but according to this person, maybe they have some bad side effects. Maybe they're allergic, because all that happens to them is they're tingly for 3 days afterwards. Is tingly what the Flash feels when he gets his powers? Mr. Flash, thank you so much for joining us in this interview.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to have your powers? Tingly. Okay, thank you so much. This has been the Flash.
Wow, you got here super fast. Yeah. What's the downside to the fact that you just ran around the world in a second? I don't know. My feet are vibrating. Feel a little bit tingly.
How do you avoid if you have to take 10 5-hour if you have to take 50-hour energy? Which story. I've done this once before, not with 10, but with 3.
Okay.
There was one night where I stayed up at some friend's house, and we were playing video games all night long, and I just thought at some point in the night when it was really late, probably like 4 or 5 in the morning, I was like, wow, it's so late. I would get so little sleep because I had to help my dad do kind of construction work, remodeling sort of stuff the next morning for a full 8-hour shift on a weekend. And so I was just like, wow, I might as well just not sleep. And on the way back from my friend's house to home before the shift, I went to a convenience store and grabbed 3 5-hour energies and thought, this is what I need to get through the day. And I took all 3 of them right before starting, and I felt like garbage because, you know, we ate literally like Doritos and like McDoubles like all night long. And as that goes when you're in high school, and I was probably 17 years old, and I never had 5-hour energy before, and I probably hadn't drank water in like, 3 days. And
I was gonna say a year.
A year probably, because it's all just Mountain Dew. And I, within 30 minutes of working, just started sweating profusely, like more than I normally do, to the point like, and I wasn't even like working yet, and I just barfed all over. The construction site. And I just started, I remember I just started crying, and I ran to my dad's car and passed out in his car, like just like fell asleep. I always say passed out, and I feel like some people might not know that I just use that as a term for sleeping, but I barfed, ran to my dad's truck, and then just fell asleep, and he was so disappointed.
Oh my god. I can't believe in you being sick. How dare you?
I stayed up all night and then took 3 5-hour. I took 15-hour energy. Now, what would this person must be like? I view this as a high caliber drug in the level that if all that happens to you is you're tingly for 3 days, you're doing pretty good.
Can you give me an approximation? I mean, this is gonna be a great thing to say if it's a friend. Can you give me an approximate weight of whoever this person is?
You know, I actually can. This person, I believe, is around 180 pounds.
Okay. All right. The max that you can have safely, this person, per day is 2.5 5-hour
safely
energies. Yes.
So what happens after the safety?
If you drink 60, so if you drink 6 times what you drank, you would be dead right now.
Wait, you had 60
5-hour
energies, you would die.
This person specifically,
at that weight.
Yeah, it says the daily safe maximum for you, question asker, is 2.5 a day.
Which is 12.5 hours of energy, which makes sense.
Which is, just needing 12.5. You just need it for the sun up, the sun up
the
times.
sun up, the sun down, yeah.
So you just need a helpful tip of how to make your own 5-hour energy drink.
Ooh, healthy, holistic. Natural, organic,
homegrown,
5-hour energy, homegrown,
horticulture, other words.
Make it in your apartment. Get a heat lamp. Sort of 5-hour energy.
It's very easy. What you do is you plant a plant, any plant. You let it grow. You let it grow big and wide, and then once it's grown big and wide and the sun shines happily times on it, you absorb its energy. You just drink gasoline, and then that's the same thing as 5-hour energy. You're welcome. You will not get energy. You will just throw up and probably faint.
I hope that helps. And guys, this is the end of our show, where we're going to say thank you once again to our listeners and followers for making this podcast possible. Big thanks once again to our question askers and to our parents who birthed us. This has been Save Your Bacon. My name is Will.
My name is Zane.
Take it easy, guys. And if it's easy, take it twice.